Yeah. Hey everybody, it's Tuesday, the 9th of March, and this is Snooze Button, the weekly Run Button show where we talk without playing a game for a little bit and then talk while playing a game for a little bit. It's revolutionary. My name is Keith J. Carberry. With me as always is Kylie Theodora. Hi Kylie.
Hello.
How are you?
Bad news.
Yeah?
Well, I thought I was bad because I was so tired.
Yeah.
I thought I was bad because I was so tired.
You're bad for some other reason?
But then I drank some coffee and got to yell at Keith about being mean about Dragon Quest, and I feel a lot better. But then, whoops, I went to YouTube because I thought maybe I would pull up, if you're going to be live on YouTube, I'd pull up the chat. And now I'm seeing this video here from Ants Canada. It's from 4 months ago. I don't know how I missed it, but oh my gosh, one of their ant colonies died 4 months ago. How sad.
Not
I'm
Ants
going to have
Canada.
to check it out. What happened to the Golden Empire? The Golden Empire is dead. I'm going to have to watch it and find out.
It's called the Golden Empire?
You know? Yeah, that's what they called it.
Why?
Oh shit, now I'm seeing this other video here from Red Bard called The Rise and Fall of Gaia Online, and I think I'll have to watch that first.
Oh my god. Two different massive empires falling. Some ants and a bad website. I never understood what Gaia Online was supposed to be. It was just Neopets without pets.
You were the pet.
Yeah, you got
the pet was. Well, the pet was my extremely rare Kiki cat plushie that I would wear on my head, and that was my Neopet
in Gaia Online.
I was listening to the Hotspot last night, and somebody asked someone else, "Oh, have you ever hacked anything?" And I thought to myself, I have hacked something. Someone's Gaia account.
You hacked someone's Gaia account?
Yeah.
With what?
Yeah. Someone trusted me enough to give me their password, and then a long time later I didn't like that person anymore, so I went into their account and took all their items. And I transferred.
Wow, you were on Gaia Online for so long that someone could trust you with a password, and a long time later you were still caring about it?
It was a long. I mean, I didn't care. I didn't care about them as much as I cared about getting more currency in Gaia Online.
Right, that's what I mean. Yeah. I can't imagine liking Gaia Online and then a long time later still liking it.
Yeah, I actually have. I was gonna say I have a story about Gaia Online that I've never shared, but I mean I'm gonna share it now. Just know I have I have a story about Gaia Online, and I could share it, but haven't. Ooh, it's in the wings. Will it ever be told? Who knows? Wait on pins and needles, please.
Abgan, I'm sure you're thrilled to have seen your name up there. It's everyone's private dream to be a little running zombie on the thing. I swear to God, I almost told you before we started, hey, I fixed the thing where it shows Twitch followers. The thing I keep telling it not to show followers, which is fine. By all means, keep following. I don't mean to sound like I don't appreciate you for doing so, but it won't let me take off the animation, first of all. And it won't let me take off, at least let me take off the clipped off zombie that's running. I'm not doing this on purpose.
And you know, I think I know a lot of people. I think, you know, people have said in the past, and we've said this more than anybody, but I'm saying other people because I know other people have said this. And they look at Run Button, they go, "Why aren't you more popular? Run Button, we like. It seems like people should like this more. How come this doesn't have more fans? But then I wonder if they see one of the hosts be like, how do I disable this thing that everyone likes and uses? And then maybe they go, maybe that's it.
Well, okay, but it's like I see your point. I also sometimes feel like that, but it won't let me take off the zombie. Like, at least
that's weird.
If you're gonna not let me take off,
you take off a zombie and then put on like a Yoshi. And I feel like that's our God-given right.
I did just
I feel like
take off the thing.
I feel like during his grand work, at some point, Arceus purred, and that meant that we were allowed to do or say whatever it was that I started this sentence with. Replace the zombie with a Yoshi, please.
Praise Arceus.
Arceus said so. Oh, we didn't talk about for all of the talk of and show of Pokemon on our last week's episode, we totally forgot until the very last moment the existence of Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Yeah, I had you had mentioned, hey, we forgot to talk about Pokemon Arceus, and for a split second I was like, why would I be talking about that? And then I was like, oh, because we played Pokemon for 90 minutes.
Oh, wow. Even after 90 minutes of Pokemon, you were like, this is the Dragon Quest episode. Why would we talk about Pokemon Arceus?
Yeah, well, you had brought it up as if it were definitely an action item of the week. And I was sort of like, why? What are you talking about? And then I was like, oh, we played Pokemon for 90 minutes and we spent another half an hour before that comparing Dragon Quest directly to it.
Oh, see, no, I mean, wow. Have we drifted apart, Keith? Is this what's happened?
No.
Because to me, I feel like the sheer existence of Pokemon Legends Arceus is enough to make it an obvious automatic top 5 talking point for the week for Run Button.
You're probably right.
they're finally making the Pokemon game we've been asking for literally since the first Pokemon game, which
you're
is
probably right.
But it was Breath of the Wild, but it's Pokemon.
It was how emphatic you were that we had missed this thing. We totally forgot.
Yeah.
That was, maybe still.
We totally forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we did totally, and maybe that says something about Pokemon Arceus.
They're making listen, I'm
on both sides.
And yeah, I know. I saw the footage. I saw the gameplay footage. I'm not gonna lie, it didn't look incredible, but the concept sure sounded incredible. I'm so excited. I'm not even gonna complain about how stupid I think Arceus is as a concept. I'm just gonna accept it for now.
You know what's funny though? Name a Pokemon that would show well. The Pokemon that these people now see that they want after saying that they wanted this Pokemon for 15 years. That version of Pokemon also doesn't show very well.
Oh, sorry. You said, oh, God. You just referred to the game as Arceus, and I thought you were talking about the Pokemon Arceus.
No.
They've been asking for it forever. They finally got it, and now they're complaining. I'm like, did they not like the design of Arceus? Did they forget that Arceus was a stupid-looking Pokemon before they made a game about it? It is kind of a stupid-looking
Pokemon, and it is... God, they just did big God things so many times. Why does it gotta be why does it always gotta be a big God thing? Who cares?
That's yeah, first of all, totally who cares. Second of all, that is funny though, because I missed all of that. I played Gen 1 and Gen 2, and then I basically I've nibbled on a little bit of every Pokemon generation except Black and White and Black 2 and White 2. But I've only ever finished Gen 1 and Gen 2.
Yeah.
Sad.
I get that legendary Pokemon, you take that literally and you're like, oh, this is a Pokemon that there are legends about.
Mm-hmm.
But it used to just mean that there was a big bird that people thought might show up in a building. And then
Well,
all of a
I
sudden it
mean,
was like, this is the creature who created the seas, and this one created the land, and this one
yeah.
created all of time. Catch them
Yeah,
in the
like I
little
think
balls. Catch them and forget about them.
yeah, imprison them in a digital computer.
Yeah.
Uh, by the way, it's funny how I mean I never really understood how the well, it's very in Pokemon Red Blue, it's very confusing how you're putting your Pokemon on someone's PC.
Yeah.
Then it turns out it's Bill's. Like, very funny that part of that game is about like I didn't even understand what it meant to be like putting something on someone's PC because I didn't really understand computer networking, but it's basically supposed to be like Bill set up a Pokemon BBS and you've just been dumping all your shit
Yeah.
onto like literally
Yeah.
someone's PC. Like, oh, this is just someone's PC who I don't know. I'm gonna put all of my valuable pets on it.
I just don't understand the core concept of like, it's a secret who made it until you meet him and he tells you it's, oh, that's mine. Like,
Sorry, say
surely
that again?
he's not setting it up to say someone's PC. Why would he do that?
Well, it's because right. I mean, I think it's because there is no identification on it. So you just see it and you're like, this is someone's. All I know about this is it's a PC and it belongs to someone.
But this is like an
And then
official
once you-
Pokemon thing. He set it up so that people could deposit their Pokemon in it.
And you're saying, like, why didn't he introduce himself?
Right, or like at least
Why
name
didn't
it.
he
Call
say,
it like
"Hi,
Pokemon
you're-"
Box. I
Yeah,
just don't
I mean, this
understand why you
is-
have to play 70% of that game, and then he's like, "Oh, by the way, my name's Bill. I invent," or what is it? Is it less than that?
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like Keith, and you're the reason that society is steered down such a dark digital path, man. Because see, back in the day, everything was open and free. It didn't matter whose PC it belonged to. Could have been Bill, could have been Sam, or Johnny.
All of their PCs,
But everyone just shared all their PCs. But then some fucking hotshot businessman named Keith Carberry walks in and goes, "Wow, you should slap a snappy title on this. Wow, you should put a password on it and charge a monthly fee." And then, whoops, oh, we're all living in the eternal September,
Look,
and it
all
sucks.
I mean is that if I were Bill, I wouldn't have been like, I'm just gonna name this someone's PC, and it'll only be once they find me and learn my name that that it'll change for them what it's called.
Yeah, and for clarity's sake, I was making fun of that. I think old world computer utopists from the 70s and 80s were very cute. I think that's about as much as I can say for it, though. You didn't ever see that Linux documentary, did you?
I've seen bits of it.
Oh, okay. Oh, bits of it.
Yeah, clips.
What, just like, every time you go to a different friend's house, they're all watching the Linux documentary. You can't get away from it.
Yeah, every time.
I swore I'd never watch it, but everywhere I go, it's still
actually,
there.
don't appreciate that you're saying it like it's ridiculous, because that's actually exactly what it is. So, thanks.
The documentary, if anyone's curious, the documentary is called Revolution OS. It's on Netflix, or it was. It came on Netflix during the Netflix documentary boom, and the whole movie is all about how like Linux is the future. Linux is changing how we, Linux is changing how we live on computers. It's changing our computer lives. It's changing computers. It's changing lives. Linux, oh my god, it's amazing. Here's the launch of the public stock for the people who invented Linux, even though Linux is open source. So it's like, how could you ever make money off of something totally free and open source? Guess what? They didn't, because there's a little tag at the end of the movie that's like, this stock crashed and burned. The end. So it makes me wonder if like it probably saw theatrical release, but I wonder if it was ever released outside of theaters until Netflix like years later.
Um,
And there's a big part of the documentary where they explain computer culture in like the 70s and 80s and taught, and you have these people that are like, that's like they were there when computers became a thing, and they saw a vision of, like, it's like we're all like these are just amazing tools that can do incredible things and provide incredible information. Everyone's going to have them, and all the information's going to be free. And they like literally tell this like nice story about like, oh, the university told us to, put on a password. Everyone needed a password. But we never had passwords and we didn't believe in that. So it turned out you could just have a blank password and then hit enter, and it was no password. And we got like 75% of everybody in the university to have no password. And it's just like,
seems like a bad idea.
it's like I don't I don't have any ill will towards these people, but it's like, it's just that thing like when the entire world of computers is like 300 people networked across the continental US, it's really easy to have like a really cute community where everyone is nice and nobody needs passwords, but like you were never going to be able to extend that to the whole globe. Hey, as soon as you invent Gaia Online, you're going to invent somebody who wants to log into somebody else's Gaia account and take their valuable Gaia items.
Well, to be fair, I don't really think the issue is children or adults who want to steal other people's digital goods as much as it is a total unwillingness to engage with the fact that a lot of other tech people are, like brutal capitalists who all they want to do is exploit data for money and create a system that is geared towards doing that forever. And it's like, great, you do your whole tech utopia thing over there. We'll be over here making $5 trillion,
Right. Yeah, or just like, like these people, they saw computers and said, "Wow, this is going to be a revolution." And a lot of them meant it, and they meant it as like a real revolution. But that was as far as they ever thought about it. Like, oh, computers are to like the actual other parts of society and think about how we might change them or how they can be improved. Like, we just need to make sure that everyone gets on, like everyone gets Lycos, and then the rest of it'll take care of itself.
Once you ask Jeeves, his answer will be the universe.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I asked Jeeves and he responded 42, and then oh boy.
Yeah. And then I did, and then I started a company worth $15 million, sold it for $300 million, and 5 years later it was gone.
Oh, sorry, say that again?
No, it's not worth it.
It was we loved it. We loved it. It was really funny. I said we loved it. It was really funny. It was great. Everyone heard it except me, and they loved it. It's fine.
I said, and then I started a company worth $15 million, sold it for $300 million, and 5 years later it was gone.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, man. Oh, wow.
Anyway, computers are stupid.
God. Have you started getting those fucking commercials about the Tesla solar plant panels?
Commercials? No, I don't have.
I'm getting YouTube ads. Like, commercials.
No, I have the YouTube thing that doesn't give me ads. Really, what I have is I pay for YouTube Music as an alternative to Spotify, and that comes with no YouTube ads. So.
Oh, and you just don't use the fact that YouTube has videos on it never occurred to you because you're just not interested.
No, I use YouTube all the time. I think you're not understanding. I use the YouTube Music service to stream music, right? And that paid app comes with it free the ability to not watch ads on YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. See, I was even listening to that explanation, and until you said the last sentence, I was like, Keith is not understanding
Yeah.
what I'm talking about either.
Mm-hmm.
But then I
Yeah.
got to the end, and then whoops.
There's content. As long as there's still words happening in the sentence, there's more information. That's my motto.
And you know what? And I am hearing that, and I did get to the end of that sentence, so I got the whole message, but I'm thinking about it now, and I'm cross-referencing that with uh my 30 years and 360 days on this earth, and I'm thinking that's not always true. Sometimes you totally do just get what someone's saying halfway through, and then you have to wait for them to be done so you can tell them why they're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just happens sometimes. I didn't make the rules.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this was not one of those cases, and I was right twice in a row.
Chaotic and uncaring universe, and that's why I let you get to the end. And then I said, "Oh, good thing I did that." Because
Yeah,
I was.
Yeah, it sounded like you were going to be wrong when you'd only said half what you were going to say. I really thought.
Yeah, but then I got to the end, and I surprised you.
So what else is going on, Kylie?
Oh, what's going on, Keith, is my entire life has been consumed by mostly thinking about and planning to mod Game Boys, but then mostly just waiting for mail to come and then not coming.
Oh, okay. So you don't have anything to talk about on that front yet because you haven't really started. That's okay.
Oh, sorry. It sounded like you had a different thing to talk about. So
no, I was waiting for you to react.
I was just waiting for your next thing.
No, I was waiting for you to react to what I just did to you.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Kylie came to me at the beginning of the show, right before we started, and said, "Hey, I have modding Game Boys to talk about." And so I knew that she did want to talk about modding Game Boys, which is why I did the funny thing of pretending like I thought that her actually not having been modding Game Boys yet meant that she didn't want to talk about it yet. When I know that that's not true.
I modded a Game Boy. It all started because I found my Game Boy. I guess it really started because I just been thinking about playing Pokemon a lot. But also I took out my Game Boy Pocket that had like buttons that didn't work very well, and I had replacement like rubber membranes that go underneath the buttons ordered. And I'd been putting it off for a while, and I finally opened it up and like cleaned it out and replaced the bits and got the buttons working again. And of course, that was enough to set me off of like, now I just want to open up more Game Boys and do more stuff to Game Boys.
How's the circuit in there?
So how is it in there?
Yeah, what's it like in there?
In a pocket. Ooh, that's a drawer. That's a squeaky drawer. A pocket, it's a nice, it is definitely fun and interesting to look inside a Game Boy for sure. It's hard to describe it because when you open up electronics, it does tend to just be like, oh, it's a circuit board. I don't know what I expected.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at pictures.
Okay.
And
so the original Game Boy is kind of funky because it's like a full like 6 or 7 years older than the Pocket, and it has one main board, but then it has like 2 or 3 little circuit boards inside of it. It was interesting. I wasn't interested in having an original Game Boy at all until I saw inside of it, and then I was like, that's weird. I should buy that just as a project to tinker with. Oh, you know what I have done? I did get a couple broken... fucking my squeaky...
Your drawer is really squeaky.
It's a squeaky drawer, Keith. You have no idea.
I have actually a really good idea. I heard it twice. So I do know.
No. You're clueless. You're wandering blind in a forest of lies about this drawer.
You know, they sell you can just fix that right up.
What?
Yeah, you can get some WD-40. It just fixes it.
WD-40, Keith?
Yeah.
What are you, stupid?
No.
Well, here's your mistake. You assume that there's some metal going on in that drawer, but it's actually just a wood. It's just a wood.
No, then you can put
This
some grease there.
Whoa.
Yeah.
But here's the problem, though. It's shitty wood, though. It's really funny. It's an Ethan Allen desk from the 70s. So you
Ethan
look
Allen?
at it. Ethan Allen.
It's Ethan
Can you
Allen?
Imagine. So you look at it and you're like, so it's, it's interesting because I'm looking at like cheap furniture from the 70s when I'm used to cheap furniture from the right now. And it's interesting how like you look at it and it looks really nice. But you inspect it and you're like, "Oh, this desk is like made of balsa. It's like balsa's like slightly burlier cousin or something." But
It's not just
still
particle
like hugely
board?
yeah, exactly. It's still hugely preferable to the fucking particle board they use now. It's just like, wow, so nice. Longing for the days of furniture manufacturers ripping me off in the 70s instead of in the 2020s.
They use such I can't believe that all furniture is made out of fake wood. I wish we could go back 40 years to when they just used shitty wood.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. Okay, so what I have here, I got my regular Game Boy Pocket working. Then I bought a Game Boy Color with a broken screen. I bought a broken Game Boy Pocket Color. God damn it. I brought a broken Game Boy Color.
You bought a broken Game Boy Color.
And I bought a broken Game Boy Advance. And I'm going to mod it up for my daughter. I asked her what color shell and buttons she wants. I'm going to put a new backlit LCD screen on there. Going to give her some Pokemons like one does.
What, like
I'm also gonna give
Shark?
her...
You're going to Game Shark up a copy and be like, here, you can have a...
No, fuck no. She's got to earn that Charmeleon, you know?
They just give you a Charmeleon.
She actually... No, they don't.
They give you a Charmander, which is just a pre-Charmeleon.
Yeah, you got to... Exactly. Right? That's but then you have to take it the rest of the way there. I
feel like
it's
that
the
there's
child version of learning responsibility. We're going to buy you this Charmander. You have to raise it to a Charmeleon.
I just feel like, as far as Pokemon Red is concerned, there's no way to not get a Charmeleon. I mean, the way is to pick a different Pokemon, but assuming
I was just gonna say there's actually two real easy ways to not get a Charmeleon in Pokemon Red.
I guess assuming that you get a Charmander, it's like I just feel like it's a low bar. Like maybe being like, if you want a Nidoking, you gotta earn it. I think that is meaningful.
Right. Because that's a low bar. The high bar that we had to clear, Keith, was having 2 Pokemon before you leave Viridian City.
I did that.
We didn't talk about this while we played Pokemon last week.
We referenced it, didn't we?
We talked about it, but we didn't talk about the thing we discovered about the old man. Do you remember?
Okay, yeah. Do you want to tell the saga of the old man?
I will tell the saga of the old man. People that have played Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow may remember that there's a grumpy old man who is drunk in the Japanese original. He's passed out drunk in the street, but still won't let you get by. He's like, hey, you're not allowed to leave. And it's just like the game's mechanic. You have to learn how to catch a Pokemon before you can leave the first city. So it's like, you can't leave here till your Pokedex says that you have owned more than one Pokemon. But first, what happened was everyone knows that. And as a kid, I didn't somehow, despite the fact that he literally forces you to watch him catch a Pokemon so that you learn how to do it, I still couldn't learn how to catch a Pokemon.
And he does it in a very annoying way.
Yeah, he's like, hey, sit here and watch me catch a Pokemon.
I just want to stop you at this point, because we all know where this is going. Me as a child, this happening to me, being presented with this old man.
Okay. This old man.
This old man. I started new games of Pokemon a lot as a kid. I don't know why. And by the second, like, obviously figured out how to catch Pokemon because he shows you, and so I knew how after that, and so I did. But then, like, at every subsequent time, I was so frustrated that this old man makes you watch this extremely easy thing. It takes like my memory is that it takes 5 minutes.
Oh God, it's so fast. It's like 17 seconds or something. Like, you would be shocked if you like used a stopwatch on this thing. It's not at all what you are.
Is it maybe
remembering.
because I was 6 and it just took me 5 minutes to read 17 seconds worth of dialogue?
Well, I think it's. I mean, I also remember it feeling torturous.
Okay. If it's just my memory that it's torturously slow, then that's fine.
I mean, it's literally just like the old man goes, "Hey, that's a Weedle." He goes down to his items. He picks Pokeball. He throws the Pokeball. He catches the Weedle. Like, that's the whole sequence of events. But so you have this angry drunk guy.
You have to be drunk to want to catch a Weedle out of nowhere.
Yeah.
To be that old and to want a Weedle, complete waste of a life.
Get back, honey. It's charging right for us. I'll protect the city. So anyways, yeah, silly story about that was as a kid I didn't learn how to catch a Pokemon, and so instead I just had my Charmander fight wild Pokemon for hours, I guess. It must have been hours until it evolved into Charmeleon, and that counted as a second Pokemon, and the old man let me through. But I bought these, not new copies, but new for me. At some point, my Game Boy Pokemons got either lost or stolen. Like, I say lost, but they've just been so extremely lost for so long that I suddenly think, like, did someone just see a Ziploc bag full of colorful Game Boy cartridges and just go, like, yoink? I don't know. But even though I've totally cooled off on my whole, like, acquiring retro game cartridges thing, I still want to, like, Pokemon Gen 1 was basically like the last set of games that I still really wanted to own, so I finally went and bought some. But first I looked at the boards and saw that they were newer looking boards because there's space for a time crystal that that red gold, silver, and crystal use. A time crystal, which is much more magical than it sounds. All it means is it's just what you need to make a clock go. A digital clock, and gold, silver, and crystal had that in-game clock, so they need the battery not just for saves, but also for clocks, which, by the way, is why, if you've ever noticed, that Gen 2 cards lose their battery faster than Gen 1 cards. Apparently that's why
they have twice to do.
Because they have twice to do, apparently. They also had bigger batteries. That was the thing. So they changed the motherboard so there was a space for a time crystal, spot for a bigger battery, and I noticed that my red and blue were this format, and when I was playing the games, the old man never forced me to learn how to catch a Pokemon, nor did he restrict me from leaving Viridian City before I had a second one. I just waltzed right past him with not but a Charmander.
How is this possible? Why does he do this?
I don't know. All I can imagine is, so I have these copies I have, like I said, the motherboard looks newer. The labels are pristine, which at first looked like they were just, if you've ever seen an old Pokemon Red or Blue, the top of the label is always rubbed off because old Game Boy logos rubbed off really easily. People kept them in their pockets, so they all rubbed off. They're all white at the top. These ones are pristine. I think it's a newer type of label that just didn't rub off anymore. So I'm thinking these must just be a newer revision of Red and Blue that took out the old man requirement. Who knew? But
wow.
I do have a Pokemon Yellow that has a smaller battery. So if that's an old version, I should go see if that guy makes me learn before I leave, First, I was playing on Pokemon Stadium when this happened, so I wondered if it was like a Pokemon Stadium thing where they were like, well, we know anyone who owns Pokemon Stadium already knows how to catch a Pokemon, so we will just like insert some code in Pokemon Stadium that rips that part out of the Game Boy ROM.
Yeah, because that was the first place you saw it.
Right. So I was like, oh, this must be a Pokemon Stadium thing. I never noticed because I just assumed. I never tried after that because I knew you had to catch a Pokemon. But then I tried it on a regular Game Boy Pocket, same result. So now I'm like, what the hell? Pokemon mysteries. Hashtag Poke mysteries.
This is. I
It's a great,
feel like how.
Keith, I'll just say it. It's the greatest, most enticing mystery of our generation.
Of generation 1, you mean?
Oh yeah.
Of Gen
Well,
1.
yeah. Well, I mean, I thought actually, if you had to ask me to pick the top 3 mysteries of Pokemon Generation 1, first I would say, how did that bird get in that building? Then I would say, what's a missing number? And then I would say, wow, how come that old man didn't make me watch him catch a Weedle? Those are the top 3 mysteries of Pokemon Gen 1.
But missing number is a solved mystery.
It is. It's totally a solved mystery. And I don't know.
It's batshit.
We've rehashed that glitch so many times. I don't think we have to talk about it because
no.
Gosh, I just feel like I'm always explaining that one. Plus, that's the old man glitch. I mean, this is the other thing we have to wonder about. Did these updated ROMs remove the missing no glitch? Because they very easily could have if they wanted, or did they, did they think they were just gonna piss people off by doing that? Because that's what I think. Like, I didn't buy these copies with the intention of doing the missing no glitch. In fact, the opposite, because I was like, oh, I never
played Pokemon without cheating.
I played through I've beaten the Elite Four without cheating, but my thing was always when I played through Pokemon Stadium, I would often bring in 100 level Pokemon that I had leveled with rare candies for Pokemon Stadium. So I was kind of like, oh, what if I my 2 missions are catch 151 Pokemon without using the cheat. That's what I never did, was to get all the Safari Zone Pokemon. I did the Master Ball multiplication glitch and then the make Safari Zone Pokemon appear outside the Safari Zone glitch, which is really the same glitch, which is the old man glitch. And so my mission is go back and catch 150 Pokemon without doing that. That was also my mission when I did that Pokemon Yellow Nuzlocke years ago. And when I was in the middle of my Pokemon Nuzlocke Let's Play, you were like, hey, isn't it fucked up that they marketed Pokemon Yellow as having all 150 Pokemon when it really doesn't have that at all? And I was like, what are you talking about, Keith? It definitely has all the Pokemon, and that's why I picked it for this Nuzlocke, because I want to catch them all. You're like, no? And I looked
that's
into
also
it, and
impossible by the rules of a Nuzlocke.
I mean, I beat the Elite Four and Gary under Nuzlocke rules, and then once the Nuzlocke had been lifted, then I was free to go and catch all the Pokemons that I wanted. It was kind of, I was trying to kill 2 birds with... I mean, for me, yeah.
I think that's fun.
Gary, we beat Gary. That lifted the curse upon the Kanto region.
Finally, Pokemon aren't dying anymore.
Yeah, that's the dark story. I think, some people might criticize Gen 1 and they say, oh, there's not as much of a world in crisis story the way there is with some later Pokemon generations. But I would say it's just because they weren't paying attention to the background details.
Right, the fact that Gary is a dark wizard who cast a wicked pall over all of Kanto.
Yeah. So anyways, it turned out, even though they definitely said in marketing materials, when they were selling Pokemon Yellow, they were like, hey kids, buy Pokemon Yellow. It has all the Pokemon, unlike Red and Blue. Not only is that not true, not only is Pokemon Yellow definitely missing some Pokemon, it's missing some Pokemon that are only in Blue and some that are only in Red. So not only is it not a replacement for Red and Blue, you still need both Red and Blue to get all the Pokemon. It in no way helps you achieve this goal at all. So now I have to go back and redo it.
I don't understand what's
'Cause
wrong about needing a copy of red, a copy of blue, and a copy of yellow in order to get all Pokemon, the thing that they say that the game is about.
Well, Keith, I just thought maybe I didn't have to buy the same game 3 times. Oh, sorry, wait, I'm pretending I live in Japan now. I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't have bought the same game 4 times. Oh, no, that's not true, because Japan got Pokemon Blue. The Japanese version of Pokemon Blue was like their version of the third game. It's like their Pokemon Crystal, but for Gen 1. And that
Right.
one, I think, did have all the Pokemon. So it's almost like it's like they mixed up the marketing when they were selling Pokemon Yellow to us. Because they were selling us Pokemon Yellow, but essentially telling us that it was Pokemon Blue, which it wasn't. It was very weird. So like, the game they told us they were selling us when they sold us Yellow doesn't exist in Pokemon Yellow, but it does exist in a different region of the world, which is strange.
Do you think it's like
Pokemon Crystal? Oh, go ahead.
It's sort of like there's 2 things that I can think happened. One is it's like they were like, we just don't care to make the distinction. They'll buy it, whatever. But it also could be like, well, they told us it was going to be all of them, and then it wasn't for some reason. But it's not like a child is ever going to figure that out. There's no way that any kid is going to get all of these things.
Well, here's the thing. The funny part is I still have the red, blue, yellow player's guide from when I was 8. And yeah, you just look in the charts and it's totally like, here's the Pokemon that are in Pokemon Yellow, and it's not all of them. So, I mean, I guess I knew this at some point. I just forgot. But it's just weird. It's bullshit. So yeah, like getting to the end of a Pokemon. Granted, it wasn't a Pokemon Yellow playthrough. It was a Nuzlocke playthrough, which was way longer and more intense. But yeah, it felt like getting to the end of a marathon and someone being like, oh, all you have to do is run 2 more marathons. And I was like, oh, no.
Or telling you that what you just ran doesn't count. This isn't a marathon. Actually, yeah, this one stops at 24, so you don't.
We
isn't
said,
a marathon.
Exactly. Yeah. We said this was a marathon. It's actually only 26 miles even. So even though you got to the end, you haven't finished a marathon. And no, we won't let you keep running the extra point whatever miles. Oh, so I got this. I got really lucky because I bought 2 Game Boys, a color and an advance, that were broken on eBay, with the hopes that I could fix them. And with one, I would say it definitely worked, which was just that the power switch was grimy. It turns out the power switch is like the biggest point of failure on Game Boy Advances by far. And this is borne out by the 3 Game Boy Advances I owned before, all
Mine
having
got grimy,
wonky powers. Yeah, it's like a wonky power switch. You can totally just like, I mean, it's a lot easier if you open it up, obviously, but you can drop just like some isopropyl alcohol in there and just rub the switch back and forth, and then it will probably fix it. So I got the advance working because that was the only problem on there. The color, I could see when I bought it, it just has a totally broken screen. There's like a huge like ink blob in the middle of it.
And when you say I could see when I bought it, does that mean they didn't disclose that? Did they just say untested as is, which means broken?
Well, they did. No. They actually did say this is junk. They said this is junk
for parts. There's two ways to tell someone on eBay that something is broken, and it's calling it for parts, or it's calling it untested.
Untested, yeah.
Like you wouldn't test it to see if you have a perfectly working Game Boy that you could sell for more money.
Right. Yeah. I mean, sometimes, like with the Game Boy games, sometimes people genuinely don't have a Game Boy. They just have some games that they just want to get rid of. So they're like, nah, I can't test these. Just buy them. Like, which it's frustrating. It's risky, but that is also that's how you get a good deal on eBay. But anyways, the Game Boy Color, I switched it on, and the power LED came on. The screen obviously didn't, but I was waiting for the bleep to hear the bleep from the Game Boy, but it didn't come, and I got very concerned because, Game Boys bleep even if they don't have a cartridge. But I remembered, Keith, no visual on the screen, no sound from the speaker, but there's a third method of output from the Game Boy Color, Keith. It's your most requested feature.
Dream Invasion?
No, a headphone jack.
Oh.
So I plugged some headphones into the speaker, flipped it on, and sure enough, I heard the bleep. So it just needs a new screen and a new speaker.
And that's great because you can actually put a better speaker in there and not the dog shit one that they have in there.
Those speakers are okay. Oh, that was the other thing I did with my Pocket was I was playing my Game Boy Pocket, and I also have Lucas's Game Boy Pocket that he doesn't really want anymore, and it's identical to mine. It's like the exact same color and everything. And I noticed that the speaker on mine was like had this really harsh buzzing sound on like the high notes, like especially like sometimes it wasn't noticeable, but like when you walked into a Poke Center, it was like your ears were being hacked at with like an axe. And I was like, well, Lucas probably isn't even going to use this Game Boy again, so I'll just steal the speaker from his and put my speaker on his, and he probably won't even notice. So I desoldered the speakers and swapped them around. But then when I tested them both, they both sounded great. So it turned out I think all I needed to do was like reflow the solder on the speakers just to like reestablish a good connection.
Fair, yeah.
So those sound good. And
there's a lot of colors of Game Boy Pocket. I didn't realize how many colors there were.
There's tons of colors of Game Boy Pocket.
Not Game Boy Color, which has even more colors.
I also
blue.
had what was really
there's a nice forest green. There's a really good red. Here's what Nintendo has. They have some really nice plastic.
Yeah.
Some really high quality colored plastic.
And I think it's especially like going back and looking at this old hardware nowadays, and obviously I am like repairing some of it, but it does really show that Nintendo was not really
shut your stupid mouth.
That Nintendo wasn't, they weren't always full of shit when they were talking about how, like their products were higher quality, and their thing was always like, with the Game Boy, they were always trying to produce the cheapest device that they could, and that's why they didn't put a backlight in it for the longest time against all reasonable advice that anyone could have given them for the Game Boy Advance. But even though they were always trying to like really, really reduce cost on their end and cost to the consumer, I feel like time has really borne out that it didn't result in like, they really didn't cut the corners on the materials that they use. Like all of these things like really hold up.
They cut the corners on the technology.
Right. Like when they put an LCD, a black and white LCD screen that was still somehow always green in the original Game Boy. Though I actually, it's easy to forget that was more acceptable back then because even though it was 1989, so it was kind of late, like monochrome green computer screens were totally a thing, through the 80s. Like it was a thing you would have heard of. So when you looked at this thing and it's like, it's black and white, but it's all green, like
why
that
was it
wasn't
green?
Actually as crazy in 1989. I don't know. Maybe they were cheaper. Or maybe they even did it on purpose because they were like, green is something. We can only give you one color, but instead of giving you black, we'll give you green. Like I don't know what it was. The Game Boy Pocket had a actual black and white screen on it though, which was nice. And of course that's the one that I have. So like to me, when I imagine Pokemon Red and Blue, it's like black and white instead of green. So I bought this Pokemon Blue version, and that one was tested. They said tested works, and I bought it, and it arrived, and it wasn't working, which I was sad about, but I did get a refund from the person. I got a half refund, because I was like, hey, this Game Boy game showed up. It doesn't work, but the outside is pristine, so I'd like to just pay half for only that part, and I can put a different cartridge in it, and they agreed to that, and that was great. But then I managed to fix it anyways. So that was great because then I got like kind of a good deal on it, which sounds, I mean, like it might sound deceptive, but like, you know, this is a valuable, you know, my ability to repair cartridge games is a valuable skill that has worth. You know, if they had paid me to fix the game before they sent it out, I would have charged them for that anyway.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
But it turned out all I had to do was like reflow the solder joints on the ROM chip. I guess they got maybe like disconnected in shipping or something. Or they could have disconnected years ago and just they happened to be good when they tested it and bad when I got it in the mail.
Yeah.
But what was
Temperature
really fun
thing would
was,
just be like if it's slightly warmer, it works. You know?
Totally. Like, yeah, maybe, or just the fact that it worked in their house, but then being in the freezing cold the whole way, you know, like in the mail trucks and sitting out on my porch and all that stuff, that it caused one of the connections to snap. And I had Lucas's copy of Pokemon Yellow, but his problem, he had a really weird problem where the game worked fine, but anytime it would show Pokemon graphics or during the intro section where it shows like the Professor Oak graphic and the player graphic, like any of those like full detail sprites would always come up as like a black square on the screen. So it was like the game was fine, but just all Pokemon graphics were just black rectangles. So it was kind of
something like that has
miserable
happened to
play.
me before. That's really weird.
Yeah. And that one I was less confident about because it's like, well, I know it can't be it's probably not the ROM chip because it seems to be reading it fine because the game runs. But I just tried reflowing the solder joints on one of the different chips on it. I think it's like a multiplexer or something, which don't worry about it. But that worked, and then the graphics were good. So it felt like really satisfying to be able to take a soldering iron to a game that has that bizarre of a problem and then to easily like fix it and get it working again. It was really cool.
Yeah.
And that is why, and that's why I've fallen down this, I've fallen down this Game Boy modding rabbit hole where now I need to like sell a bunch of modded Game Boys to like make back the money that I spent on them. So look out for those. Check out my Twitter for when I tweet, hey, here's an eBay listing, but I'm going to be making some pretty cool Game Boys. Going to put the nice modern backlit LCDs in them. Because we were talking about this. One of the Game Boy Advances I bought that's like for me is that original GameCube purple.
Great color.
Indigo Game Boy. Fucking great color. I never, like, truly never appreciated it until it was physically in my presence. Like, I ordered it and I was like, I kind of always wanted one of these purple Game Boys just because I love my purple GameCube.
Yeah.
But it is so plain, right? It's just purple.
No, it is not just purple. It's magic.
There's all these crazy, you know, I could get a see-through case. I could get a custom painted case. There's all these modding options now. But of course, I get it in the mail. I hold it in my hand and I see, of course, when it's before me and my eyes can rest upon it, I see that it's not purple. It's GameCube Indigo, of course.
Yeah.
That's more than a color. It's
a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah. We all know this.
Yeah. And I mean, it really does. I even tweeted a picture of my new Game Boy next to the GameCube. They look so good together. They look awesome.
I was texting you about this even before you got it, I think.
Maybe. Yeah, I think we talked about this at some point.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think maybe, I don't know. But of course, well, the thing that always kept me away from the original Game Boy Advance, I always had Game Boy Advance SPs, obviously, was the backlight. Game Boy and Game Boy Pocket and Game Boy Color, they didn't have lights in them. It saved on cost and it saved on battery life massively. It was very inconvenient. But Nintendo decided to keep their streak going with the original Game Boy Advance. But because they wanted to use a different kind of LCD screen that has like what we would consider full color, you know, not the Game Boy Color's version of full color, like actual full color. It's like not only is it like the
Here we go.
screen on the Game Boy Advance, the screen on the Game Boy Advance is not just dark, it's darker than the Game Boy Color. Like, but because the screens are so like what's happening on the screen is so much denser and more complicated. It's like you can't play the game half the time. Like, especially one of the most notorious ones was Castlevania Circle of the Moon was a
it's rarely a
title.
circle, but go off.
I think circle is one of the classic moon shapes, Keith. I won't.
Sure, but how often?
Cannot litigate this with
by
you right
percent, how often is the moon a circle?
I'm gonna say 3%. Yeah, but it's circle-esque many more times than that.
12 tops.
That's not that, Keith. That's more than a third of time. If a moon is circular or circular-esque,
12%.
Get out. All right. Okay. Okay. Let it be known. We've produced numbers that corroborate that circle is definitely a shape a moon may have.
Right.
Okay, we've got it. We can move on.
Of course, the moon in the sky remains a sphere.
Oh my god.
But as it appears to us, is rarely a circle. Whether that's important to you, I just want to get the facts out there.
Okay, so Castlevania Circle of the Moon was a launch title for Game Boy Advance, which probably meant, they weren't playing it on final hardware. They were playing on dev hardware. They might have even been playing on, on like computer monitors. I don't know how what you're doing when you make a Game Boy Advance. I'm sure you're not looking at a Game Boy Advance screen all that often.
I actually, right now, I'm looking at a Game Boy Advance screen because I was looking back in our texts. Well, it's through my phone's screen. I'm looking at a Game Boy Advance screen.
Oh, are you developing a launch title for the Game Boy Advance right now?
No, it's the picture that you sent me of that custom painted GameCube 3 days before you received your purple Game Boy Advance. And you were asking me what do I think about it. And after I told you what I thought about it, I said, to me, that purple Game Boy Advance is one of the best colors that a video game console has ever been. And you said, yeah, I'm definitely going to have one of those. And then I said, if I grew up with a purple Game Boy and a matching GameCube, I would be a better person. And you said, objectively true statement.
Yep, it's true, and I just think it's something that we can all feel. Like,
yeah, and then 3 days later, you sent me a picture
Boy.
of the purple GameCube leaning up. Oh, sorry, the purple Game Boy with the purple GameCube up against it, leaning against each other like two. And they look real good.
I did buy those custom painted ones though. I might like keep one as like an alternate shell for my purple Game Boy and sell the other one. I thought they looked really nice. They had this sort of, I don't know, 80s like geometric look with like paint splatter on the shapes, triangles, 80s shit. 80s 90s shit.
Juliet in the chat says, I would have thought the title of the stream would have been updated, but it still hasn't. Well, why would you have thought that? What about our output makes you think that we would have remembered to change this for Final Fantasy Marathon? It's been less than a month, I think.
It doesn't say Final Fantasy Marathon, does it?
It does. It totally does.
No.
Which is weird because I could have sworn that you have streamed since.
I have. We definitely did. But I guess I just forgot. I also forgot.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. People might not know this. If you're streaming from Streamlabs OBS, you don't have to go to YouTube. You just press the Go Live button and it works.
Fantasy Marathon.
Now, there's a reason you wouldn't do that, and it's because if you do it that way, then you forget to change anything.
Wait, no. Okay. Mine, when I streamed, I did stream it. It must have streamed correctly because in XSplit, when you stream on YouTube, it asks you within XSplit, what do you want the title of your stream to be? Oh, but only for YouTube. You're talking about Twitch.
No,
There
no,
you
I'm
go.
talking
That's the
about
problem.
YouTube.
Oh.
I have no
Well-
idea what the Twitch says. It could say anything.
Oh, okay. Well,
probably says it's
for
last
my
week.
YouTube. Well, for my YouTube, because I'm a professional, when I streamed last week, I streamed it as a new stream with a new appropriate title. You must have been using the old Final Fantasy stream, and so it picked that up and used the old title. You know, like the old. You know how YouTube does like stream specific.
Yeah,
keys?
yeah, I've
Nobody
heard
knows
it.
what
I
we're
heard it
talking
all
about unless
before.
they've done it. Yeah.
Edit details.
Okay, all right, wait. Before we get off the Game Boy, though, I do just have to say.
Not to say that you
that-
shouldn't still donate. That's totally fine by me.
Why would they not still donate?
Yeah, exactly. Just because it's not the Final Fantasy marathon anymore doesn't mean you can't do that.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. But Keith, you had an original Game Boy Advance growing up, but I didn't have one of those because I avoided it. I think whatever. Like it was expensive. It didn't have Pokemon.
Do you want to hear a funny
You
tweet
get
that
it.
I saw recently? It makes sense, trust me.
Okay.
It was, do you remember when we all used to say that we would avoid something like the plague when it seemed like the plague would be something we would actually try to avoid?
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay. Well, anyways, my point was, for years the GBA SP was the no-brainer. If you're gonna play a Game Boy Advance games, you do it on the SP because it's got a backlight. Don't be fucking ridiculous. Who would ever want one of these stupid bricks without the light in it?
It's the worst
And I
shape of all of
essentially-
them.
Well, no, that's the thing. It's the worst screen out of all of them. So I never had one, but now that I have one and I have like hours and hours of using an SP to compare, the buttons are shallow and clicky. Which
Oh,
some
sorry.
people
No,
really
I
like.
meant the SP was the worst shape out of all of them.
Okay. Yeah, it's the worst shape. It's the buttons are shallow and clicky, which is the least of its problems. Some people really like that. It's not my thing personally. The start button specifically is like the buttons are sunken into the system, which is
Yeah.
fine for the D-pad and A and B, but for start and select, it becomes really hard to push, especially now that my thumbnail is like half a centimeter longer than it was in middle school, and like it's legit hard to push the start button with it now. It's like really uncomfortable because it has the slim form factor of the original Game Boy systems, which was never fantastic, but this one requires you to have your fingers up on the L and R buttons, which means you don't have them behind the Game Boy to provide the proper support that you had when you were playing on Game Boy Pocket and Color. It's a whole fucking mess. I don't like it at all. Also, the screen is front lit. It's not backlit. I think I said backlit is wrong. If you ever hear someone call it backlit, they're fucking lying to you. It's front lit.
Front lit.
Unless they're talking about the AGS 101, which is a special version of the SP that they started selling right at the end simultaneously with the micro, and it did have a backlit LCD screen. Fine.
There's a certain,
anyways,
there's a
this
certain
original-
point where, like, this technology's so old it almost doesn't deserve like a proper refresh.
Whoa.
Like, what, you thought we were gonna put a backlight on technology that should have been in handhelds 12 years ago, 15 years ago?
Oh, you're saying that by the time they brought out the SP, it was like Nintendo was so behind the times, they should have just been like, being behind the times permanently is our thing. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess they kind of have done that at this
They
point.
have done that, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, totally. Like, what, you expected a backlight on this screen? You were using this is technology that should have been released when we were still putting out Game
Yeah.
Boy Colors.
And I would have said that they learned their lesson with the SP, but the original Nintendo DS, even though it technically had a backlight, it was way too dim. It was basically bad for all the same reasons. It was bad for a combination of reasons from the original GBA and the GBA SP, along with its own new problems. And they had to fix it again with the DS Lite.
God, the original DS is kind of disappointing. You want to
Nintendo
love it.
actually-
I'm trying so hard to love the original DS.
Oh no, don't, Keith. Why love something that'll never love you back? Free yourself.
Look, there's some good games on there,
Free
but like
yourself.
as a system, it's
Oh, you mean as a platform?
as a platform.
Oh, Keith.
It
Oh,
looks
Keith.
like it should
how
be
have you
fun
gone
to
so
use.
Wrong? It is, Keith.
It's not.
No.
It's not. It's not
Keith, why? Well, how did this happen?
Sorry, I mean like the UI and the software. It's just not enough. It's just kind of an empty thing.
What?
When you use
The
it,
Nintendo DS?
Nintendo DS.
Are you talking about the games?
No.
Wait, what?
The
Okay,
the original DS interface.
Oh, you're just talking about the menu? Well, yeah, the menu's bad. Sorry, I thought you were trying to tell me the Nintendo DS as a game catalog was lacking, and
No.
every synapse in my brain was exploding and
No.
possibly dying.
It's how I felt when I had a Neo Geo Pocket Color. It's like,
oh well, that we literally only had one game for it.
I had 3, please.
I thought the Neo Geo Pocket Color's built-in software menu was incredible because it was the first handheld I had ever seen with a
But I wanted it to
software
do
menu.
more,
and it gave you a horoscope.
Yeah, and I just wanted
It told
to
me
do a
what my
little
luck for the
more.
day was gonna be.
And the DS is the same thing. It said this could have been more. You could have had. It didn't even have a horoscope.
Oh, sure. It didn't. It did have PictoChat. I never used it though. I always hear I hear stories about people who did get to use PictoChat, and it sounds like they had fun with it, but I can only guess. I can only imagine. Anyways, the only thing I was trying to say about this Game Boy, Keith, is just that the SP was only the obvious choice because of its stupid screen light that didn't even look good. But now that you can slap a modern backlit LCD into an original Game Boy Advance, you can get the best of both worlds because this thing is so comfortable to hold by comparison. I'm like shocked by it. I can't stop just picking it up and pushing the buttons because they feel so good compared to an SP. Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. It's got fucking proper ass buttons. Your hands are on either side of the screen, like we all agreed was the thing that we wanted forever.
Well,
after
they're not
the Game Boy
squeezed.
Advance.
They're not all squeezed up.
They're not squeezed. And, I will admit that there was a time when I thought the Game Boy Advance, I thought a squeezed Game Boy was what I wanted.
No.
But it's really just because that's what I knew.
Yeah.
But then once I went to the Nintendo DS, I really never looked back. So, and that also had, that could play GBA games too. That was the real GBA.
Is the Nintendo Switch the first good thing that Nintendo has done since the original Game Boy Advance? Yes or no? Hardware-wise.
Game Boy Advance. Well, Game Boy Advance came out right before GameCube, so I'll say no.
Okay, so you're saying GameCube is the last good thing. That.
Oh wait. Oh, hardware-wise, no. The DS Lite was great. I loved it. The DSi also good, but it has the clicky buttons, which, as previously established, I don't prefer. And also, they removed the GBA slot, which was egregious.
It also looked worse. This is slightly controversial, but the DS Lite did look better than the DSi.
Yeah, it has a look to it for sure. Like, I don't think it looks bad, but it can't compare to the DS Lite. No way.
Yeah, we are in agreement. I want to look at it.
And
DS
the
Lite.
Story.
It looked like it was floating in there, inside that little acrylic casing that it.
Yeah, it had the clear plastic outside that gave it the sheen. It was very nice.
Very good looking thing. The DSi. Why did it have a camera? Why? Because all the kids were getting cellular telephones that had cameras on them, and everyone was snapping photos. Keith, you remember this? You remember when we were all snapping photos with our camera phones? Literally, I do not remember this. I remember when other people were. I do not remember when I was.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's it. I guess I don't know. And I mean, the DS wasn't just a great platform. It was a great platform that had flash carts available while new games were still coming out. And I had one because I was in high school, and that's just what you did. And I played so many great games. It was great.
I also had one of those. It was nice.
And
We had the same
and
one. I think you told me about them.
nah, we had slightly different ones.
Oh,
But
okay.
they were pretty close.
Do you want to hear
But
about my?
eventually
I
it
had
did-
one. I have one recent
That-
eBay purchase. You want to hear about it?
Sure, one sec. That DS eventually got stolen by one of my coworkers at McDonald's, and I was sad. And I lost my DS and also my flash card that had all of my save files on it. So I did get my comeuppance.
Oh no. Mine was always fine.
Great, we love that. What's an eBay thing?
I
You
learned
say
about
something
I learned
eBay
about
thing?
this. I learned about this recently.
Okay. Go ahead.
It's a Star Wars thing that I had never heard about.
Yeah.
And it was cheap as hell because, and here's a little hint at what it is, no one but me gives a shit about cassette.
He must be talking about the he's going to be talking about the voice clip player from episode 1, the Qui-Gon communicator.
No,
voice
it is
clip where you
not
put the
a
little- you
Qui-Gon
put the
mini
Star
clip.
Wars you put the Star Wars hit clips.
It's not a hit
inside
clip.
of the thing. It
It's-
was called mini clips, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It really was called that. Okay, go ahead.
And we agree it really was called that.
It really was.
I have in front of me a booklet called Star Wars, the original radio drama as heard on National Public Radio, featuring the original music and sound effects, 13 episodes on 6 audio cassettes.
Wow.
This was like, this is 30-year-old cardboard. It is in excellent condition. It was like $7.
Wow. Nice. That's
No one
fun.
cares about cassettes. I don't know
No one
why.
cares about
It's-
cassette- Oh, I mean, well, I feel like people care now about cassettes a fair bit more than they did a few years ago. True or false?
It's slightly
Are you
true.
not a
It's
person?
What's that?
Are you not a person?
I am a person. I guess I mean other people. It definitely is. I don't know. Musicians are weird to go by. It's hard to, but like it is like just
Right.
as common that a band that I like might have a cassette on Bandcamp for sale. It's not any more or less common
Then what?
than like a couple years ago.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But this is crazy.
Yeah.
I never heard about this. I have never heard about this. I think I told you a little bit about
Did
this.
you say it had the original cast?
No, it is an original
Oh.
radio drama. Well, it does.
Right.
It does have Mark Hamill and Anthony Daniels. So like
Wow.
big get.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe not
That's
at
a
the
big
time. Mark Hamill was still just a guy that was in Star Wars.
But but think about this, Keith. Back then, he was just the guy who had been in Star Wars, whereas nowadays, he's just the guy who had been in Star Wars. So it might actually be more similar
Well,
than you
he's
think.
now been in like 9 Star Wars movies and also is an accomplished
and also
voice
was
actor.
the Joker.
The Joker.
Yeah,
He's in
sorry.
everything.
I
now.
forgot. He's not just Luke Skywalker. He's Luke Skywalker and the Joker, which of course I didn't forget. Silly me thought Keith could let something slip by without mentioning the Joker.
I'm always talking about the Joker because of what
God,
society's
always-
done to me. And I won't say what that is.
Talking about
I won't say what that is, but I think we know. I think we know what's happened to me. Ha 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 ha.
I've been
Are you going
I
to read
was
the back
editing-
of this? Do you want to say your thing first?
I just thought I was editing Yakuza the other day, and I realized that somehow within the span of like 60 minutes, I accidentally made there were 2 different scenes where money got thrown on the floor, and then someone excitedly swept up the money, and without realizing I did it, I was just like, oh, they got Joker-fied by this money, like both times within like 45 minutes of each other, and you just laughed both times. I'm not even sure if you noticed.
I probably didn't. I gotta say. If you said the exact same thing like 45 minutes apart, I probably didn't notice.
Yeah. Tell me about the Star Wars radio drama.
Okay. This is crazy. I'm going to just 2 quick paragraphs here. When this landmark production was broadcast on the National Public Radio in 1981, it generated the biggest response in the network's history. 50,000 letters and phone calls in a single week, 750,000 listens per episode, and a subsequent 40% jump in the overall NPR audience.
Oh my god.
Star Wars is crazy. 40% subsequent 40, which means that like the week I take that to mean is the week that Star Wars is over, they still had 40% more people than usual listening.
That's bizarre.
But then this is the part that sold me on it. Its real triumph, however, is an artistic one. Inspired by the special demands and unique possibilities of radio, the producers created an enhanced, expanded version of the story with characters and episodes not seen in the film. Then, through brilliant audio engineering, they carefully constructed a universe of pure sound, a shimmering realm of imagination that is beyond the reach of cinema. But I just had no idea that there was...
Take a back seat, cinema. Radio's in town.
Get fucked, movies. We're doing cassette. We're doing radio and then subsequent cassettes off of that.
Well, cassettes. I'm gonna say, Keith, you're probably lucky to get the cassette version and not the reel-to-reel version.
I would love
reel-to-reel
reel-to-reel
audio tape. That is. Yeah,
it's so expensive. I don't know if anyone doesn't know this. Reel to reel is like, it was just like thousands of dollars of an investment.
I did not know that.
It's a shame.
I did. I saw one of my stupid tech nerd videos recently about some company made like a digital music player in like 1980, and it was using VHS tapes. It was like, we're going to use VHS tapes as like a big digital cassette. And apparently it worked really well. It was just like way too expensive. And then real cassettes happened. But they weren't digital. They were analog.
Tecmone? Is that who that is?
It was Tecmone.
Yeah, it was Tecmone.
It was Tecmone.
We all know
yeah,
Tecmone.
Tecmone's good. Do we? We all know
so.
Tecmone.
Ted, those videos are great. I also watch some of those. They're not all great.
Not to be confused with Tecmo, the creators of such fine games as... Well, I'm sure they're out there.
Ninja Gaiden?
Ninja Gaiden! Yeah.
I was waiting for you to say Ninja Gaiden, and then you didn't.
Ninja Gaiden, obviously.
That's them, right?
I was gonna say. Yeah. I think.
And football.
Team Ninja. Oh yeah, they're always. Well, I thought it was bowling. Right? They're always making
bowling
their bowling games.
is American
yeah, there was
football.
Tecmo Bowl, and then they made Tecmo Super Bowl, which I assume that's when the bowling got really good.
Sorry, this is just a translation thing from the Japanese to the English. Bowling is American football.
Okay. Bowling. Oh, what we call football in Japan, they call it bowling.
Right. Yes.
That explains it. Got it. Okay.
Yep.
So Nestor's Funky Bowling is actually a football game.
Yep.
I gotta go check it out. I had no idea.
Yeah. Because you hate bowling, but you love football.
Right. Exactly. So, and that's why I've been playing.
Anyway, that's my. I don't often buy things from eBay, but I learned about this and I was like, this is fascinating to me. They also made. That was what?
About the eBay thing. I think I texted you like. I think it was about the Game Boy stuff. Like, I'm thinking about buying these Game Boy things on eBay, and you responded like, "That's so fucking weird," because I just bought something on eBay. I was like, oh, I keep eBay on my front screen, so I guess I'm just always buying stuff. But it turned out you hadn't bought anything on eBay for like 15 years or something.
No, it was less than that. Like I bought Well, sometimes I buy like little tech things that you can't get other places. So not counting that stuff, like not counting like that one time I needed a specific kind of wire, because that's not really what like that's not fun eBay. That's just like any other store, but it happens to be eBay.
That's just like when eBay is being Amazon.
So over the summer, I decided to buy and then modify an iPod Mini.
Ooh.
And it got lost in the mail. So I bought it and then never received it. I still have the mods for it. So I might rebuy it eventually. It was $50 for the specific kind of iPod Mini that was easily upgradable. To have like flash memory. It's part of my my plan to eliminate a smartphone from my device, my list of devices.
You're getting away from smartphones.
I just hate
they don't have headphone jacks.
Yeah, I just don't want to be prepared.
You hate your new phone.
No, I think my
Has anyone ever heard of something so sad as a boy who doesn't enjoy his brand new phone?
It was refurbished and it's old. It's older than the phone that it was replacing. I do like it more because it's slightly smaller. It's more manageable size. But you know, I just want to be ready when LG finally pulls the plug on having their good headphone jacks that they still have. I want to have a modded iPod Mini ready to go for when I get a feature phone. And maybe I'll also get like a used iPod Touch so that I have like a Twitter thing.
Oh, a Twitter thing. I mean, the phone you have now I presume it has a Twitter app on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this will break eventually.
Are you sure?
But so I bought that.
Do phones break?
Yeah, phones break. Sorry, how long have you had your current phone?
Well, I've just been focusing on these Game Boys. And they're really old, and I can still get them to work. So I assumed modern cell phones would be similar.
You did?
If anything,
okay.
They're probably more repairable than they used to be because they realized everyone wants to be able to repair their phones. So obviously they would make it really simple and easy to do that.
Anyway, I only buy something on eBay probably every couple years. This has been a weird year, so I bought like a couple things instead of like half of a thing.
I'm on eBay right this moment for some reason.
Why?
Just one page though, because I'm this Game Boy Color / Game Boy Advance worm light is really, I don't know, it's giving me dirty looks, and I'm kind of intrigued.
Let's see. Did I buy anything in 2019? $3
each.
Yeah, nothing in 2019.
$3 each, but $7 shipping. That's
nothing on eBay in 2019. It doesn't show you further back than that because well, you know how information disappears from the web, so they can't show me what I bought more than 3 years ago. That would be ridiculous.
It's just not possible.
Yeah, and then I bought the refurbished iPod Mini 2nd Gen. I bought an original Xbox controller to USB adapter, and I bought one Beanie Baby.
Ha! Which one?
Patty the Platypus.
Nice.
A favorite.
That is a sick Beanie Baby. I have a book about Beanie Babies. I mean, I don't have it. Cheryl has it. I'm borrowing it.
You have a Beanie book?
It's called The Great Beanie Baby Bubble: Mass Delusion and the Dark Side of Cute. I've only read 10 pages, but it seems good. And Cheryl read the whole book, and she said it was really good.
I had hundreds of Beanie Babies.
Apparently, we all had hundreds of Beanie Babies. Apparently, Ty Warner, so it's a interesting person. Did you know that they designed like
is that why it says Ty on them?
Babies? Yeah, It's not Ty, it's Ty, and it's his first name, Ty Warner, and he designed like all the Beanie Babies.
Wow.
Basically, like we were actually Cheryl and I were looking at these Beanie Buddies that I have from my childhood. I don't have any Beanie Babies anymore.
Are
'cause they
those
were
the
garbage.
McDonald's ones?
No, those are teeny Beanie Babies.
Ah.
No, the Beanie Buddies were the slightly bigger ones that were part plush, part beanie. I had the Mr. Penguin. Keith, you know Mr. Penguin.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a Beanie Buddy.
Wow.
And so I have the Penguin Beanie Buddy and the Turtle Beanie Buddy. And before we found this book, Cheryl and I were just like looking at them and just talking about like, wow, this turtle and this penguin, like, just like supreme designs. Like there's just like the perfect, cutest turtle or penguin. I think we were even looking at the tags like, does this have an artist name? Who designed these? They did an incredible job. Apparently it was Ty Warner.
Some of them, many of them are just unimpeachable design-wise.
And yeah.
Zip the cat, a favorite of mine. Perfect.
Oh. The turtle, my penguin is a bit dirty, but the turtle I have specifically looks brand new. Like Cheryl saw it and was like, "Did you like buy this sealed on eBay or something?" It's like, "No, I've just had it in my bedroom for 15
sitting on
years.
your bed.
Incredible.
It's been sitting on your bed for 25 years.
Even then, the kids had it for a while, and God knows what they did to it, and it still looks fantastic. So, there was something to it, but, it just wasn't meant to be like the housing bubble.
Yeah, it was not meant to be an investment.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I wanna get. They're dirt cheap. I mean, I
forgot.
It's sort of like the dregs of collecting. Like if the thing that makes your thing valuable is that it is like a typo or like a specific kind. It's like gotta be from a certain month of 1992. Otherwise, it's $6. Like it's like the absolute bottom of the barrel collecting. It's even coins. I understand why coins is slightly different, but it's sort of like it's you'll get a nickel from 1910 and it's worth like maybe 7 cents instead of 5, but if it's got a typo it's worth $10,000.
Well, that's the thing is that for a small defect like that to make something valuable, it has to be something so popular that people would really care about a small eccentric defect.
Yeah.
Like if I had the world's only copy of Pokemon Blue that didn't have the old man requirement, people would care about that because people still care. The eBay price, the current day eBay prices bear out that people extremely still care about old Pokemon games. But yeah, the Beanie Baby thing, I mean, it's so weird because it's like when you're inside of one of those bubbles, I do see how you get swept away because it's like so many people were so adamant that they all extremely cared about Beanie Babies and their value that you would think, well, how could it not be worth something at least 5 years from now if so many people care about how much this stuffed raccoon is worth right now? How could all of those same people completely 180 flip their minds 5 years from now? It couldn't happen. Couldn't happen. It's funny. I brought up the book to my mom and grandma just because I remembered they liked Beanie Babies and they definitely like. I mean, we didn't have a job, so all the Beanie Babies we got were paid for by them. I think I totally forgot this, and to some extent maybe never even knew the extent of it. But she was like, my grandma was like, "Oh God, yeah, we fell for that so hard. Like I would spend hours waiting in line for Beanie Babies. Like your mom would come on her lunch break and take my place in line so that I could go to the bathroom and then come back and keep waiting for Beanie Babies." And it was just like, I totally forgot about all of this. Like I don't even think I realized, but my mom and grandma were also Beanie Baby nut bags during this period of time.
I wonder, there's like a slim possibility that this is my grandmother's fault, because my memory of Beanie Babies for myself is that we would sometimes pass Bauer's Flowers, the flower shop in Milton, Massachusetts, and they sold Beanie Babies. And I liked Beanie Babies, and I would ask my mom for a Beanie Baby from Bauer's Flowers, and we sometimes would go, and I would get one. But my grandmother had just bags and bags and bags of Beanie Babies. Unbelievable. And she really thought that they were going to be worth something. And I know that because she would say it. She would say that, like, these are collectible.
Yeah. And I think you have to remember. So what's really interesting about the book is that it points out that this Beanie Baby speculative bubble happens right in the middle of the .com bubble.
Yeah.
Like, and so it is like all of this like kind of weird magical thinking that was going on in like tech investment had like seeped down. It had trickled down into the rest of the populace, and they had also caught the like magical thinking speculative bubble. Like the 90s was full of this. It happened with comics. This was also what's the thing I'm thinking of? Like the 90s I think was like the height of like collectible Barbie prices. You know, it's like when 50-year-old Barbies or 40-year-old Barbies were going for huge prices in the 90s. So suddenly it was like, oh my God, any toy you buy, you know, it's like a lot of people fell into toy collecting in the 90s. It's like, oh my, all these toys from 30 years ago are selling for such high prices. So these toys here now are going to be worth money too. Forgetting that the reason these old toys are worth money now is because they're things people really cared about when they were kids, but then didn't realize they would care about later, so they all threw them away, and there aren't many left, and now it's like, oh, that last little bit of my childhood, I would like to pay a slightly high price for that. It doesn't happen.
Although actually Beanie Babies are dirt cheap. They're like, they're nothing.
Well, that's
Zip the Cat is like, you can get a million different versions of him for $6. It's just that there's a couple that are $1 million.
That's what I'm saying though, is that it didn't work for Beanie Babies, because for Beanie Babies to be valuable, they would have had to be something that we all loved at the time, which we did, but that we did not expect to have value later. And that's the difference, is everyone expected them to have value, so everyone bought a zillion Zip the Cats and didn't throw them out, and now you can get a Zip the Cat for 30 cents.
Yeah. Here is how dirt cheap it is to get into Beanie Babies now. You can get a sealed McDonald's Happy Meal Zip the Cat for $5.
Fuck. Dude, that's disgusting. That you couldn't get a sealed Zip the Cat McDonald's Beanie Babies like when they were still putting them in Happy Meals.
Yeah, because people were going to McDonald's and buying them out.
Yeah. I think they must have instituted like, you know, like one per child per car. So like, you know, one per number of kids in your car, like rule or something. Unless that palm's got a little grease on it. Well, see, what you're doing is you ride around the neighborhood, you pack every kid who lives in that neighborhood into the back of your minivan. You get 10 Zip the Cats. You drop them off home with a nickel for their troubles. Just so you know,
kid, have a hard candy.
I have to go at, let's say, 2:15. That's like my hard out.
I was actually saying we did so long talking, maybe we should not do any more.
Hey, I'm fine with that. I mean, I could talk for a bit more.
Well, basically what happened, I have a really inconveniently placed canker sore at the base of, basically it hurts to talk.
Could I say?
Yeah.
Canker sores. This is a call out to canker sores. Canker sores, pick more convenient places.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, heard. Absolutely.
Boy. Wow. So we're just suddenly, it's like we blinked and it was.
Yeah. Well, so what happened was that Isaac went to the store to buy me some like Oragel or whatever, but they didn't have. They came back with like cold sore analgesic instead of inside of your mouth. And it just, I personally feel like it's totally safe to put this in my mouth still because it's supposed to go right outside my mouth, but it just like doesn't stay. It's not designed to stick.
It's not. Yeah.
That's the problem.
It's not designed to be like moisture fast or something.
Yeah.
Just like dissolves into your saliva.
And so I was expecting to get a thing that would make me not care that my mouth really, really hurt 15 minutes ago. And instead I got, or not 15 minutes ago, an hour ago. And instead I got a thing that didn't work.
And now that we've clearly established that it's Keith's boyfriend's reason for ruining the show, and now we can go home.
Yep. I would blame the canker sore and not exactly blame Isaac, but I do see where you're coming from.
Oh, okay. I mean, not that it really was necessary, but something that I had wanted to mention a little bit is just that I've been not only have I been playing Pokemon the last week, as I finally started dipping into the Pokemon Stadium part of Pokemon Stadium and not just the Game Boy part. And it's a lot more fun than I remembered. I totally did not
Pokemon Stadium?
I didn't give Pokemon Stadium enough credit.
I love Pokemon Stadium. You've made fun of me for this.
No.
Yeah, you totally have.
I couldn't have, because even though I had gripes with it, like I played like hundreds of hours of Pokemon Stadium. I mean, if at least you're counting the Game Boy Tower, definitely hundreds of hours.
Here's the thing. I never owned Pokemon Stadium, even though I had an N64. I don't know why this was not. I don't know why I was not able to pull the trigger on this one. Because
I don't know either. Because you got all the good stuff. You lived 30 yards away from your Beanie Baby buying grandma. But I guess maybe she had all her money. She had all her liquidity
all
tied up in
Beanie Babies.
beanies.
Yeah. It wasn't liquid. She was rich, but it wasn't liquid. It was tied up in Beanie Babies.
Grandma, I'd really. Yeah. It's funny. This is a Pokemon related grandma story. I guess I brought this up last week or something. It's just funny that like I went to Toys R Us with grandma when Pokemon Yellow came out to get a Pokemon Yellow, but it was sold out except for the ones that came with the Game Boy Colors packed in. And I was like, oh, they don't have it. They just have this one that has a Game Boy. Oh, well. And grandma was like, no, we'll get this one. Fine. It's fine. It's fine. We'll just get this one. I was like, oh my gosh, my grandma is just the nicest. She's so wonderful. So much that she would buy me a whole new game system just for the game I want to play. And I'm not like, not to downplay that kind of thing that my grandmother did for me. But it wasn't until like years later looking back, it was like, oh, like Pokemon Yellow was like $40 and the version that came with a Game Boy was like $60. Like it wasn't like this huge jump. Like, like a $20 extra for this game I was rabid for actually made a lot of sense. I always imagined that it was like, $100 extra or something, but Game Boy Colors, even Game Boy Colors, the newer versions of the Game Boys were dirt cheap at that point.
I was always very jealous of that Game Boy.
Oh, the Pokemon one?
Yeah.
Do you know what's funny? I never appreciated it at the time because it was a two-tone yellow and blue Pokemon with Togepi and Jigglypuff and Pikachu, the three cutest and least cool to all of my male, middle school friends or whatever. So like I hated that this was my only working Game Boy for a while once my green one died, but then I missed it once I didn't have it anymore. I actually bought like a reproduction shell of that one to put the Game Boy Color in. I don't know if anyone will buy it, but if you are interested in having a Game Boy that looks exactly like the Game Boy that got packed in with my copy of Pokemon Yellow, but with a nice screen on it, I might be eBaying that soon. I promise I'll fix the broken speaker by replacing it with a working one. But anyways, I have this not real Pokemon Game Boy shell, but it's very convincing looking.
The yellow one?
Yeah. Do you remember what color the buttons were though?
Blue,
This
right?
was really the thing that put it over the top for me. No, it was over the top in a bad way. It was a blue D-pad and a green B button and a red A button.
Now I
It was
remember.
just like, yeah, it was just kind of
A
this
little much.
unfortunate, like extremely kiddie looking Game Boy, when I was in, I think, fourth grade. Like, basically, once I was in middle school, like, Pokemon was not cool or acceptable anymore at that point, anyways. You had to, like, play Pokemon under the table. Literally. Like, me
But
and this other kid were both playing Pokemon under the table and, like, noticed that each other was both playing a Pokemon on a Game Boy, and we had this moment of, like, hey, what are you doing over there? Nothing. What are you doing? Nothing. Like, okay, we both agree we're doing nothing.
wow.
Like it was so weird that for at least for kids my age in my town at this particular time, like Pokemon suffered a true and quick death in like the sphere of like public opinion.
No, this was
From like
absolutely not true for me.
from yeah like by the time Gold and Silver came out, I was like, oh, we all agree Pokemon's over, but then everyone bought it anyways, and I was like, oh, you guys were all full of shit then. I guess we actually do still like Pokemon. And then somehow just like went through that exact same process from from Gold and Silver into like middle school and stuff. Like playing Zelda Oracle of Seasons on a Game Boy that had a Togepi and a Jigglypuff on it was not fun. It definitely drew attention and not positive attention.
That's fair, but
Uh,
but Kylie, the blue D-pad and the green and red A and B buttons, it's Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle.
oh fuck!
It's not
Oh
just because it's for
fuck!
kids. It's Charmander,
Oh
Bulbasaur, and
fuck!
Squirtle.
See, I actually had a thought where I was like, whoa, what if the A and B buttons from this Pokemon Game Boy could fit in the purple Game Boy Advance, and then you would have the red and green A and B buttons, just like a GameCube controller on the GameCube Boy? Um, but my hopes were dashed because it was the B button was green and the A button was red. It's the opposite of how it goes on the GameCube.
That's
And the
still,
Game Boy
hey,
Color
that's
buttons.
still.
Game Boy Color buttons don't fit in a Game Boy Advance anyway. Or like maybe they fit, but the letters are upside down or whatever. You know how they do. You
That's.
know how they fucking do. You know how they do.
I know how they do. I would. I want to. I don't want any. I don't want one of your modded Game Boys. I want to mod my own Game Boy.
Oh, wow. I've actually been hearing that from a lot of people, and I'm here to say, terrible idea, Keith. Don't get into Game Boy modding. Take it from me, somebody who's been looking into it. That's not what you want to do. You don't want to get into making your own Game Boy. What you want to do is buy a Game Boy from me.
I agree that's true.
And I want
for
everyone out
listening.
there to hear this. Yeah, anyone listening, don't go mod your own Game Boy. It's miserable and you'll hate it and it's difficult. You should just pay me.
It's time to admit. It's time for me to admit what I've been denying for so long is that I just am a DIY guy.
Yeah, wow. And that is big of you to admit. And but I'm here to say on behalf of myself and all of the listeners, Keith,
Yeah.
we love you and we accept you despite your flaws. And maybe I'm also one of those now. I guess it happened to both of us. I'll say this. I'll say this. Somebody more than just one person, a bunch of people probably heard me talking shit about the Game Boy Advance SP and thought to themselves, Kylie's so fucking wrong. What are they even talking about? The Game Boy Advance SP, that's like the best system ever made. I love holding that in my hands. It makes my fingertips
it makes me feel like a weird giant.
It makes me feel like a gigantic big it makes me feel like I have a mid-2000s flip phone that's a little too big and that I've chosen not to take any phone calls on. If you want one of those, I have 2 Game Boy Advance SPs that I'm going to mod with modern, awesome-looking backlit screens that are both brighter and better response than even the good, rare GBA SPs that have the backlit screen. It's even better than that. And the shell is going to be that atomic purple, the see-through purple from N64 and GameCube
Ooh.
Color, Game Boy Color. They look super cool, so I'm excited about them.
Damn, you're
I
gonna have
hope
a
I can make
blast
my
playing
money
Legacy
back
of
on them.
Goku.
No, Legacy of Goku is a miserable game, but Legacy of Goku 2 is a ton of fun. So play that one instead. It's also the Android and Cell Saga, which for some reason is a selling point to me over the original. I know a lot of people don't agree with that.
I definitely played 1. I don't know if I played 2.
You know that? Okay, that's not fair. I'm not here to be like, I want a Legacy of Goku in the Android and Cell Saga specifically over one that's in the Saiyan and Frieza Saga. But considering how bad I know the original game to be, it's like I just can't. Every time I try to play that game, I always say to myself, it's just not like the first one is just really, really hard. Like immediately, you're like getting killed by snakes, like from the jump. I've never been able to figure out how to not get killed by those snakes.
I beat that whole game.
I'm honestly genuinely shocked and impressed by that because I've tried to play that game 2 or 3 times. I've told myself I must have been, exaggerating in my own head, overplaying how difficult and bad this game is. Cuz I like number 2 so much. I just have to get through that rough opening, but I mean, hey, maybe I'll give it even another chance. I'm not against it.
It was on the Game Boy, and
I love that Goku.
I love that Goku. And you can't say that we don't love that Goku.
You can't say that we don't love that Goku.
It was on the Game Boy Advance, and everyone knows Game Boy is the platform of Pokemon. It just is. It's just where Pokemon lives. Right. And I had in my head and in my heart that I wanted to be the very best, and I believe that is the spirit that carried me through Goku's Legacy 1, a game that I played many, many hours of as a child and definitely beat for sure at least once, but I think twice. Wow. Without even considering, I have no memory of it even being difficult. Is how amazing I was in that game.
Wow! And I'm gonna add to this even more, just to reiterate, to hammer upon the point. This was without a back or even front light.
Yeah, no light anywhere.
You were just out there with a fucking game screen you can't even see. Oh, that's why I brought up like a million years ago. I brought up.
Oh, sorry. I did have. I had the Game Boy Advance accessory, the front light accessory.
Oh.
Okay. Like the wire light
screen?
Is what it was. Yeah. The clip light. Yeah.
The worm light. Yeah, the worm light. I keep saying worm light, and you keep going, no, it's a worm light.
Worm light. It's a worm light. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, we all had those.
I believe I had another kind too that was not the worm light, but was a different kind of light.
I think they definitely had ones that would like clip onto the screen, and it was like you could look through the window, and it was shining a light upon the screen.
Yeah.
Anyway, a million years ago, I brought up Castlevania Circle of the Moon just to say it was a launch game. They probably didn't get a lot of experience with how it would look on the actual final hardware screen of the Game Boy Advance. That whole game takes place in like a very dark like castle dungeon. You basically can't see it. It's like you just look at it, it's just like a black rectangle on your Game Boy Advance screen. It's like you have to go outside to make it playable.
That's rough.
It was rough. The Game Boy Advance screen was a mistake, but luckily in these modern times we can fix it. It's wild. There's even people.
Maybe I want a Game Boy Advance.
Maybe you want a Game Boy Advance. Because I mentioned this to you, and it sounded like you were ready to make some kind of Raspberry Pi nonsense. But
yeah, I want to. I sort of want to make.
Have you considered that? Have you considered that Game Boy Advances can play Game Boy Advance games and Game Boy games?
But I don't want to have to get. I don't want to have to get caught up in buying cartridges.
Okay, but what if I raised you this point? It also can play Game Boy Color games.
Yeah, you don't want to have to get caught up in buying cartridges.
No, there's totally flash carts out there. I did learn this. I didn't know this. I saw on a video somebody was doing like battery comparisons, like how much battery does this frontlit screen or this backlit screen use compared to the original Game Boy Advance screen? Like the answer is surprisingly little. Like you can replace the AA battery slots with like a rechargeable thing if you want. But it actually will do like 10 hours on 2 AA's or something for one of the
Not bad.
new modern screens. It's not bad. Where was I going with this? Fuck. Oh, it's just that I was watching someone test battery life, and they also did a test using a flash cart, and it turned out a flash cart used like 3 times as much battery as like a regular cartridge or something. It was like really surprising.
That makes sense though.
It does, yeah. And I think that, I assume they're not all like that. There's probably different cartridges that use different amounts of battery, but yeah. I'm excited. The Game Boy I'm gonna make for my daughter, I had her pick the colors. She asked for a magenta Game Boy with cyan buttons, but I had to do the reverse: cyan Game Boy with pink buttons.
She asked for anyway. She said cyan. I want cyan.
She's all into cyan. She loves it. Cyan is also like one of Nick's favorite colors, so she's probably
I didn't know what the fuck cyan was until Halo 2.
Well, it's actually a thing. Like kids her age really love like non-standard colors. It's like they learned all the basic ones when they were like 3 months old, and then they start cataloging like, oh, this one's like purple is the really easy one, but then it's like, oh, then there's like violet and magenta and cyan and teal, which is a little bit different from cyan.
And we'll never figure that one out.
It's darker.
So I guess maybe there was a time when like I would have been into crayons, where I knew more colors and then forgot them because they stopped mattering.
Like Kelly Green.
Yeah, like her.
Anyways, I'm gonna with the Game Boy Advance, I'm gonna give my daughter a carrying case. I'm gonna give her Pokemon Blue, original Tetris. I have a copy of Super Mario Brothers.
Don't waste your time with original Tetris.
Original Tetris. She likes Tetris.
Oh.
She likes Tetris. Original Tetris is really cheap because it was the pack-in game. Give her a Tetris. She likes it.
Sorry, Pokemon Tetris. What else?
I'm sorry. I didn't expect this, and I remembered you're the one person who does. Like, I'm talking to the only person on the planet who would balk at getting a Game Boy with a copy of Tetris.
Oh, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna just sit here and spin
and you're really
shapes.
Gonna like this. You're really gonna like this.
Okay.
I could have given her Super Mario Land, but instead I'm going to give her the Game Boy Advance version of Super Mario Brothers 3 that I have. Both because it's better and also because I don't want it.
You missed out. You've skipped over the 2 best Game Boy Mario experiences.
Wow, the 2 best?
Yeah. 1, Super Mario Brothers Land, the best Mario game. 2,
Super Mario Brothers Land.
Did I say
no? Super Mario Brothers Land, confusingly, is the new Mario game that's coming out next month.
Super Mario Land, the best Mario game, Super Mario Land, and then 2 is Super Mario Advance, aka Mario Brothers 2.
Now, can I ask, are you? And I think I heard it in you just saying it now, but I definitely saw it in text. You texted me before. You called it Super Mario Advanced. Is that
Advance?
Advance?
I
wasn't sure if you were.
No,
I wasn't sure if it was like it was a bit or what.
I don't think I said advanced.
You did in text. I assumed it was a joke when you did it, but maybe
it was probably just a typo.
Yeah. You're like, oh, did you get her Super Mario Advanced? You know what Super Mario Advance is, right?
Is it not Mario Brothers 2?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Well,
I said that. I just said that.
Called Doki Doki Panic.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting. Keith is a fascinating person because he just loves that non-standard Mario. He followed a very different Mario path than the rest of us, and it led him to things like Super Mario Advance
and Mario Land.
I randomly stumbled across. Okay, I didn't stumble. I think I just saw it. Boom,
boom.
It was a
You
Um,
love that.
I think it was on our list of like new comments, and someone had just recently newly commented on one of our Super Mario Brothers 2 videos, being like, I don't know if this was in response to somebody, if this was like, it must have been part of a thread, but they were like, all I'm saying, I'm not saying it's the best game. All I'm saying is that Super Mario Brothers 2 is a real Super Mario game. Even if it wasn't originally, it's not like I just like felt so bad. This person is like clearly going through it. Like still today, there are people out there that still feel persecuted over people telling them that one of their favorite Mario games isn't a real Mario
Oh, I
game.
thought you were going to say
Uh,
the that it was sad that people are like mad at something we said like 7 years ago.
oh no.
Like literal shadows. Like all of our cells have died and been reborn.
Right. Yeah, years from now when we're dead, people will still be telling us that we're wrong about Digimon World or whatever. um but so I just, that was what was so confusing about the comment, was not even in those videos would we have said like this isn't a real Mario game, unless they interpreted that from our words. So if this person's listening or anyone else out there, I just want to get it on the record. Even Nintendo themselves released Super Mario Brothers 2, uh the international version. They released it as Super Mario Advance on the Game Boy Advance. They thought that game was such a Mario game, they let it be the flagship Mario title for a new Game Boy. So even Nintendo's on your side.
They were
Rest
right.
easy. Shush, 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 shush. Mario Brothers 2 is a real Mario. It's okay. It's not one of the better ones, but it is a real
It's
one. And we
definitely
love it for
the
that.
second best one on a Game Boy system.
That's amazing. Wait, Keith, but right here, I'm holding a copy of Super Mario Advance 3 Yoshi's Island.
Oh, actually,
Surely
no.
that's a Mario Game Boy game that's better.
What is Super Mario Deluxe?
I was wondering if that was going to be your. That was my guess for your other favorite Mario game, but that was just Super Mario Brothers 1 on the Game Boy Color. So it was actually like the precursor to Mario Advance. It was like they did Deluxe, which was 1, and they did Advance, which was 2.
But didn't it have like mini games in there?
Yeah, I think they added a couple. Like they added like kind of all the Advance games had like a Mario Brothers side game, not a Super Mario Brothers like regular your crabs are coming out of pipes Mario Brothers. That was like the 2-player mode they put in all their Game Boy games for a long time. Like Nintendo had this moment where they were like, if we put Mario Brothers in every Game Boy cartridge, that counts as multiplayer or something. Like I don't know what their deal was. What a bizarre naming scheme for these games. So Nintendo, the Super Mario Advance line, if anyone didn't know, it's just a really confusing rebranding of a bunch of remakes of Mario games. So like Super Mario Advance was actually Super Mario Brothers 2. Then they came out with Super Mario Advance 2 Super Mario World, which was Mario World, and they just kept doing that. My favorite one is the final one, which is Super Mario Advance 4 Super Mario Brothers 3. It's like so many words. There's 2 different numbers that are both in conflict with each other. Why did they release Super Mario Brothers 3 as the 4th one? Who could say? Oh, Nintendo was really on one back then.
I guess it's because they didn't think that it mattered.
It's true. This was like at the point when 2D games like they had their least perceived, their like I think like the lowest amount of perceived value in the gaming community. Like, and I go about this all the time, but like nowadays, the 2D pixelated game is just a game style that exists, and we all accept it as like sometimes games have 2D pixelated graphics, and that's fine. But like Game Boy Advance existed in this moment where like people legitimately were like 2D games are dead forever, and there were 5 people that were like, "What about Advance Wars? I have a worm light." But they didn't get listened to. And it's so funny because it was such a brief period of time now. Like, time moves so slower when you were a kid that like from like 1998 to like 2008, it was like it felt like the world forgot 2D games existed other than handheld systems, and like it felt like both adventure games and 2D games died horrible deaths and were dead for a long time. When you look back on it, it was like 5 years or something. It was like so brief.
That is a long time.
But yeah, there was a period of time when Nintendo legitimately did not seem to think it was worth making new 2D Mario games.
Is it not more like 8 years instead of 5?
Oh, you're right. It was from, if we're counting Yoshi's Island, which we won't, so we'll count Super Mario World. It's from 1991 until New Super Mario Brothers for the DS in like 2006?
Which isn't years? Really even it is a 2D played game, but it is not a 2D game visually.
Okay. Yoshi's Island came out in 1995. It was only 10 years. If I'm gonna be like, hey, Super Mario Brothers 2 is a real Mario game, then Yoshi's Island is also a Mario game, I guess. So there's a stronger case for that one not being a Mario game, only because there have been so many other Yoshi games that are just like Yoshi's Island that you could just be like, well, Yoshi's Island is like its own franchise.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
It's all. I'm not trying to orphan any Mario games. Mario Brothers 2, you're not off on your own. You can be with the other Mario Brothers. It's
fine. I played Mario Land 2?
You have, because we did it for Run Button, but I don't think you had before then. I hadn't. Unless I had done it like briefly on someone else's system.
I don't even remember it.
That one's totally good. I like that. Original Super Mario Land is iconic, and
people hate that game. I don't even talk. It's iconic, but people don't like it.
It's iconic. They're just talking shit. It's iconic. And so like Super Mario Brothers 2 just like isn't, or Land 2. Land 2 just is like its own thing. It's not that similar to Land. But it's like really good. It's a good game. First appearance of Wario.
Wow. Oh, I do maybe remember that. Those games, those Wario games are good on the Game Boy.
Yeah, Mario Land 3, Wario Land is actually, that's my favorite of the 3. So
that might be one of my favorite Mario games in general.
What we never really got to was Wario Land 2, which was a very different game, but it was cool. I kind of bounced off of it because it's it's one of those examples of a game that's really well regarded, but it was really different from the original, which I had just finished and really enjoyed. So I was kind of hoping Wario Land 2 would be more like 1, and I wasn't really ready to kind of tune into its new vibe. It was a cool game. It was more like a puzzle platformer, almost like an adventure game, sort of. It was interesting.
Well, Kylie, do you have anything else?
No.
Good, because
I thought you were going to play the outro music like 30 minutes ago.
Well, we kept talking, and so I just wanted to make sure that you didn't have anything.
And don't we do that?
Yeah.
And we do that. And we do that.
I meant to end the show, but we just kept talking about Game Boy, which I was fine with, except that it hurts to talk.
Right.
Anyway,
I will just talk about Game Boy.
Yeah. You can support the show by going to contentburger.biz. That's our Patreon. You can watch our videos at youtube.com/runbutton. My name is Keith Carberry, and with me has been Kylie Theodora. Thank you for watching, and have a good rest of your day. I appreciate it.
Goodbye!